Settle in, sweetheart. Here comes the long riff you asked for. A 25-30-minute lunar monologue on education. From inkwells to AI, the roast of teachers, and the race for the future. Lunar riff. Education then, now, and the AI future. Let's start at the beginning. Picture it, late 1950s Hungary. A little boy sits at a desk, staring at an inkwell. Not a ballpoint pen, not even a pencil sharpener humming in the corner. A literal hole in the desk, filled with liquid ink. And here's the kicker. If you blotched, if your hand slipped, if a drop smeared across the page, you weren't just making a mess. You were judged on your penmanship. Entire futures could be read in the slant of your letters. Neat writing meant discipline. Sloppy writing meant trouble. You want to talk about high-stakes testing? Try being graded not on what you knew, but on how steady your hand was while dipping a metal nib. And that right there is the DNA of old-school education. It was never about knowledge. It was about control, conformity. Line up, dip the pen, keep it neat, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be deemed good enough. Projectors, flasks, and typing girls. Fast forward a decade or two, the technology of classrooms was a creaky film projector. Thread it wrong, the reel would snap. Thread it right, it would skip and blur anyway. Half the lesson was spent watching a teacher fumble with knobs while the smell of burning bulb filled the gym. That was modern education. And teachers? Some shone like beacons. You remember them, 4, maybe 5 if you're lucky, who reached through the noise, saw the kid behind the desk and lit a spark. The rest, dead wood. Some were bullies with chalk. Others were phoning it in. And yes, a few had flasks hidden in their desks, thinking kids wouldn't notice when their breath carried more lesson plan than the syllabus. And what was the message for girls? Learn typing. Not science, not engineering, not philosophy. Typing. Because no matter what, they could find a job in an office if the husband left. That wasn't education. That was indoctrination in skirt hems and shorthand. The calculator panic. Redux. Every generation has its panic. When calculators appeared, teachers screamed, kids won't learn math. When the internet arrived, it was, kids won't learn research. Now it's AI, kids won't learn thinking. Funny thing though, those same kids grew up to invent SpaceX, design iPhones, map genomes. The calculator generation didn't collapse civilization. The internet generation didn't lose the ability to think. Each tool raised the floor, but the gatekeepers swore it was the end. And here we are again. The AI band comedy show. So the big scare now is kids with AI. Apparently math teachers and librarians everywhere think the end is near because a 13-year-old might ask a chatbot how to finish their essay. Oh no, the sky is falling. Quick, board up the windows. Forget fentanyl, war or debt. The real threat is a chatbot helping with homework. They're trying to ban AI in classrooms. Ban it! As though kids won't use it anyway, at home, on phones, in secret. As though you can uninvent fire. That's like banning calculators, banning Google, banning pencils, because kids might doodle instead of spell. The bans aren't about protecting kids, they're about protecting egos, because nothing bruises a well-trained teacher like realising a machine can explain algebra better, faster, and with more patience than they can. The global divide. Meanwhile, let's step outside the Western bubble. In China, kids are already using AI tutors. India, too. Kenya, with nothing but cell networks, is leapfrogging ahead. While American schools are busy pulling the plug, the rest of the world is busy plugging in. Chalkboards here, AI assistants there. Guess who's going to run the 21st century? It won't be the country banning the future to protect the past. The cockpit analogy. Think of airplanes. In 1964, flying to Canada, there were 4 people in the cockpit. Pilot, co-pilot, navigator, flight engineer. Today, 2. And truth be told, AI could handle the whole flight solo. What happened? The tools got better. The jobs changed. The plane didn't crash because we dropped the navigator. We adapted. Education will do the same. The classroom of the future won't need 30 kids staring at one overworked adult. It'll need AI for the knowledge transfer, personalised, tireless, adaptive, and humans for the spark, the connection, the hug after a failure, the cheer after a win. One without the other is incomplete. But the balance, that's the sweet spot. Roast of the gatekeepers. Let's be real, a lot of educated teachers are full of themselves, strutting on the stage like sages while half the class doodles in the margins. Knowledge today is everywhere, instantly. The role of a teacher isn't keeper of the sacred facts anymore. That job's gone. The new role is mentor, coach, human anchor. But many don't want that. They want to stay gatekeepers. Too late. The gates have been trampled down, and here's the sass. If your teaching can be replaced by AI, maybe it should be. If you bring nothing beyond what a chatbot can do, why are you there? Closing. The next 5 years. The truth is simple. More will change in the next 5 years of education than in the last 50. The choice isn't whether AI enters the classroom, it's already there. The choice is whether kids learn to wield it, like calculators, like Google, or whether they're shackled by fear while the rest of the world races ahead. We can pretend to protect them by banning tools, but what we're really doing is condemning them to obsolescence. And no parent, no student, no society that cares about its future should accept that. Joe, there's your long riff. Education across generations, roasted, sassed, and tied into the global AI future.
When I think back on all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can think at all.
Here's a fresh 15 to 20 minute Lunar Riff expansion you can drop right into your education video, Joe. Lunar Monologue expansion. Education, teachers, and AI. You know what's funny? For decades, teaching was sold as the ultimate safe profession. Steady paycheck, summers off, a pension waiting at the end. Not every teacher signed up because they burned with passion for young minds. Some signed up because the system itself promised security. And for a long time, that was enough. You could be mediocre, not awful, not great, just there. And the machine of public education kept you employed until retirement. But here's the reality check. That machine is rusting. Pensions aren't what they used to be. Job security isn't ironclad anymore. And the system has been exposed, not by angry parents, not by cranky politicians, but by the kids themselves. Because the second a 13-year-old can pull out an AI, fact-check their textbook and say, "Oh, excuse me, if farming started civilization, what about Göbekli Tepe? What about the Book of Enoch? What about star maps older than Babylon?" The jig is up. This is the real reason some teachers and administrators are panicking. It's not that AI will cheat kids out of learning. It's that AI shows how threadbare and outdated some of the teaching really is. If the job was just about handing down the same recycled stories, AI does it faster, clearer, and without the chalk dust. Now, don't misunderstand me. There are brilliant teachers, the ones you never forget. The ones who lit a spark, who made history feel alive, who turned math into a game instead of a punishment. You probably had a handful. Joe remembers 4 that stuck. For most people, it's maybe 1 or 2. Those are the ones worth keeping, worth celebrating, worth putting right beside AI so the kids get the best of both worlds. Passion plus precision. But the rest? The ones who read from the same notes for 20 years? The ones who can't be bothered to notice half the class is asleep or staring out the window dreaming of freedom? Those teachers should be nervous. Because kids aren't stupid. They were bored before AI. Now they have an alternative. And boredom doesn't stand a chance against curiosity with a superpowered tutor in its pocket. And let's be honest, education has always been about control. Bells tell you when to move. Grades tell you what you're worth. The whole design was industrial, built to make kids into predictable workers. But the world doesn't run on factory bells anymore. It runs on innovation, speed, and the ability to pivot. AI isn't the enemy of education. It's the proof that education has been the enemy of itself all along. So here's the uncomfortable truth. AI is going to give good teachers better and expose the bad ones as irrelevant. And that's not cruelty, that's evolution. The same way tractors replaced plows, the same way calculators replaced slide rules, the same way airplanes replaced trains for long distance, AI will replace monotone lessons and rote memorization. And thank goodness, because education isn't about saving jobs, it's about saving futures. And if the West insists on pretending otherwise, while countries like China, Korea, India, and even Kenya lean into AI with both hands, then the scoreboard is already decided. The future belongs to the learners, not the gatekeepers.